Does anyone out there remember the old Nick Jr. days? And just another idea, just talking about the game. Nick Jr. characters existed way before most of these characters on the screen in this game even existed. For some of these shows, SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, we didn't know about these shows before then. And I think just cutting it close. Let's see, shows like Real Monsters, Ren and Stimpy is almost cutting it close to around the time from the era of the Nick Jr. characters. And the thing that I want to talk about is just with a subject for more all new characters. What what would happen if they added Nick Jr. characters? What kind of characters would you like to see from those shows? From those, if you guys watch them, Oswald, Dora the Explorer, just all different shows like that that were around before some of these shows really started making an appearance. And I made a little short list of potential DLC, maybe licenses we could see, new licenses from those different shows. And as usual, we'll just bring up the characters. So it's 21 characters in the game, but let's open it up just outside of Nickelodeon. Maybe they can get maybe a little bit. Don't you guys think it'll be easier for them to get in contact with some of those licenses and make a deal with some Nick Jr. characters that might have some potential moveset, offensive movesets and different abilities that they can do. Like for example, as silly as it sounds, with Oswald and just different things that he could possibly do with his, he can have extra range with his tentacles. See? He can be one of those characters that he has some good range with his moves with strong attacks and being able to grab the enemies from further away by stretching his tentacles. See what I'm saying? That could be something I would like to see. And let's go to some other worlds a little bit to share. Swiper the Fox. Anybody watch Dora the Explorer? Swiper says, "Oh man!" But he doesn't. He doesn't. He's not successful in it. Swipe. Never Dora's stuff. He's always stealing stuff. He's just taking it and then you're too late. When he gets it and then he knocks it off someplace and then you have to search. You have to search for the items and try to help Dora find and locate the missing item that Swiper stole. Swiper could be a cool little addition to this game. He'd be super fun to play. Just see all the different unique ideas with these characters from Nick Jr. Just get Swiper the Fox in the game, and he can have some little stealth moves and whatnot. But he could be an iconic character. Blue's Clues. I'm not sure what they can do with all these characters with Blue. What kind of moves would Blue have in regards of just offensive moves? And something that I really came up with as far as Dora the Explorer and another character I'm going to bring up right after her. Dora the Explorer could be a good addition for this game. And just with her backpack, when she always says, just how you check the backpack, there's always something new in the backpack every single episode. So if she needs something out of her backpack, the backpack is so magical that she can get anything out of the backpack and pull anything out with different unique items that she can utilize from using her backpack. Her backpack itself can be full of surprises that can be utilized on the battlefield to really give the player an advantage for some offensive moves. But I'm not saying all this stuff is going to be possible. It's a different world with all the Nickelodeon universe. But we got Nick Jr. before we even got it to this point with shows like the Avatar: The Last Airbender, for example. We had all those Nick Jr. shows playing that we watched. We grew up watching these shows. So with Dora with the backpack full of surprises, she can just use different sort of items, be a projectile character, and be able to fight and just use the backpack as some kind of offense to get some good moves and get some knockouts and some points and stuff. So another character I brought up and another show that I like, Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Remember that show? But it's just things like that. You see all his tools that he gets. He can hit you with a hammer. beat you down with a wrench and stuff like that. It's just all the different things that he has, different tools, and throw a screwdriver at you. You know, his a toolbox full of tricks, just different things that he can do. That'll be cool. I think Bob the Builder would be a nice little addition along with Dora the Explorer. Out of the entire Nickelodeon, well, Nick Jr. universe, Dora the Explorer, Bob the Builder, Oswald as the example, Swiper. Anybody watch Maggie and the Ferocious Beast? Let's get the Ferocious Beast in this game. See, they got somebody like Reptar from Rugrats. What's stopping them from putting the Ferocious Beast in this game so he can really get, he could be a tank. Ferocious Beast could be slow, just as slow as Reptar, but he could be a tank in himself and having different moves of his own. The Ferocious Beast from Maggie and the Ferocious Beast show. I don't know if anybody out there remember Wubsy. He can be a good a potential character, but it's just a little list for Nick Jr. characters from that era for different shows. But if anybody, I just right off the bat, that has the most potential, I'm going Bob the Builder, Dora the Explorer, and then maybe Oswald, possibly. I don't know any other Nick Jr. shows that you guys watched back then. The Backyardigans? I don't know. It's so many others. Anybody remember Face? Face can be in this game too. You have a little giant face just biting you. He can just be a floating character that can hover, play as Face, and he just be biting you, and you can combo attacks with him. You can even change colors just like every time you will watch him on Nick Jr. when they go to the commercials. And then if they can make it happen, just remember how he would do, or when he would say like a Nick Jr. show will be right back, or what's coming up next, or Nick Jr. That could be an iconic sort of taunt, something like that, just to be, something unique. That'll be funny to see his face in this game. Just he was always an iconic character from Nick Jr. He would appear. It doesn't matter what show was going to come on or whatever show was on commercial break. He was always popping up on the screen, and he would have different variety of colors. He'll be red, he'll be purple, green, and purple, and it's just all the orange, and just all the colors that you can imagine changing colors every time you would see him on the screen. So there'd be something that they could do, and not just Nickelodeon characters. Maybe they can get somebody from Nick Jr. It's a family-friendly game. Why not Nick Jr. characters for DLC? Can't get somebody from Nickelodeon? They'll probably have a better chance of getting someone from the Nick Jr. series. Because all that trouble happening with licensing with Timmy and Jimmy and all the other characters I want to see, they're not going to probably be guaranteed to make it in. Because it takes longer to get some of those rights for additions for this game. But what do you guys think about Nick Jr. characters as an expansion? Because just like I said, we had Nick Jr. before we had most of these shows really come out later on. These shows are from the early 2000s. We had Nick Jr. long ago. We had Nick Jr. way long ago, way before these shows and some of these characters came to life. Before they existed. Maybe some Nick Jr. characters, maybe a list of some characters you'd like to see, even DLC. See how they could just expand. There's so many characters, not just Nickelodeon, but maybe some characters from the Nick Jr. Almost gonna say Nickelodeon again. The Nick Jr. universe for potential DLC and characters. But I can just really see those certain characters that I mentioned. I can really see them being in this game, and they have a good fit in the game. All they will need is a unique set of moves, maybe a particular stage to go with it from the show. They don't have to always have like a stage included from the show. They can just have the character themselves get some kind of spotlight in a showcase. It'd be something different to make the game evolve a little bit more.